Sargon, you're confused about genders. Most people are not really gender confused. Most people are not really like gender confused. And even then, if you are gender confused, you need to make a case that it's a bad thing. I'm a cis dude, but I'm also gender apathetic. I don't care. If I woke up tomorrow in a girl's body, it wouldn't mean jack shit to me. If I woke up tomorrow in an androgynous body, it wouldn't mean jack shit to me. Wouldn't change anything, really. But I have no idea what I'm getting into with this. Apparently, there's a video that Sargon did in October talking about licking abs. I don't know what this is. I saw a very strange thumbnail once, and then chat linked it to me. I am as blind as you are when it comes to this. We will learn together. We will run down this this road together. We will stumble drunkenly through it, figuring out why Sargon's talking about abs, I guess. That said, we do have the fan art section to go into before we do anything else. We got the first one here from Ben Events, had a quick sketch of Suris eating espresso beans because he was doing it on stream. It's even the witch Suris model, and yeah, I was. Look, dark chocolate espresso beans are really good. Don't judge me, okay? The next one we have is one from Kitterdoodle. It is a Kigusuris on a plush slime Suris. If the last Kigusuris was adorable, this one is ridiculously adorable. Shadow the Hedgehog vibes a little bit. Dr. Eggman, I've been eating dark chocolate espresso beans. I do it for the health of my coat. No middle finger this time. Nope. Nope. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, this video is called Lick the Abs, bigot. I don't know what I'm about to watch.
So it begins with this picture. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but this was in response to someone posting, a woman posting a picture of their abs on Twitter.
Okay.
And someone had obviously drawn this, and he took exception to this, and that's funny. That's very, very funny. But his exception wasn't wrong. And so, as you can see, you have some sock puppet thing licking a woman's abs, and a bunch of young men on Twitter posting this and cooming over it. And
yeah, women with abs are hot. Look, Chun-Li's hot, okay? I'm sorry. What's wrong with that? It literally, having abs just means that you've taken that time to work on that part of your body. It's a good thing, Sargon.
And this sent him into something of an apoplectic rage. And this lasted for days and days and days. And then this went on into weeks. And somehow I got dragged into this. And I was like, right, okay. Because I watched his video on this. And I was on the toilet, as I watch most YouTube videos these days. And this, in the first couple of minutes, before the video had started, before I knew anything about it in the video, he'd said something like, we're a civilization in steep decline. And so I had posted just the thing saying you're underselling the total collapse quite significantly, because we are in a total collapse of our civilization.
What? How are we in a total collapse of civilization? Wait, hold on. Women have abs and therefore society is doomed? At least we die sexy, I guess.
And it's not fun to say, it's not good news, it's just happening, and we're doing nothing about it. If you're okay with the collapse of civilization, then you're probably like, hey, great, this allows me to coom even more, whatever it is.
What is that sentence? What the fuck is that terminally online sentence? I am okay with the collapse of civilization. It allows me to coom more. How is civilization collapsing, Sargon? What?
And I mean, there are so many examples of this, but one of the examples that I've linked in the description is this video talking about women and sugar daddies.
What? Some women want sugar daddies and therefore society is collapsing? Please, please tell me this is not where this is going. Please tell me. What does this have to do with abs? What does this have to do with anything? What did you guys send me?
Which is really sad. I'll summarize it by just saying, essentially, Generation Z have been taught by the millennials, who were totally subverted by the social justice warriors into being purely materialist psychopaths who are unable to form proper emotional and romantic connections.
Millennials cannot form connections, are all psychopaths, and they taught the Gen Zers to go get sugar daddies because they couldn't love each other. What? Sargon, please. Please. Please tell me this is a joke. Please say psych. Please say psych. I need you respect yourself, right? You have a lot of respect for yourself. This isn't supposed to be a joke. And also, they've been taught to hate men. And so there are millions of young women using various apps and stuff, covered in this article by Zoe Strimple, where they just hate men and see them as transactional jobs, basically. You're telling me that women who get sugar daddies hate men. Okay. They view everything through the lens of, what do I have to do for how much time to get X amount of money out of a man that I hate? Sargon, you just described every waged job ever. There's my sneeze. I have another one coming up. Every single person who has ever worked a job for a wage has had that exact thought. This has nothing to do with women and men and sugar daddies. This is just describing the problems with wage labor. And the men are sad and lonely. Really sad and lonely. And just want some female company. They just want a woman to listen to them for a bit. And they're like, okay, fine. X amount of, $5,000 or whatever. And so the women are making out like bandits. This, of course, means that young men in the sort of age bracket that they would have usually dated have got very difficult dating prospects. What? Okay, so let's say I'm going to be generous. I'm going to be generous as hell. Let's say that 10% of women get sugar daddies. 10%. And I'm being real generous with that number. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. 10% of women successfully get sugar daddies. Let's pretend that that number's real. That still leaves the lion's share of women to date. Not to mention, you're ignoring gay people in this conversation. People have every ability to date. A girl goes and gets a sugar daddy. That is not one less potential partner that you have. They weren't a potential partner to begin with. So he thinks literally all women are sex workers. That apparently. Look, what kind of mentality do you have to get in to think that like all women are like this? Have you never met a non-superficial woman? Have you just not had the opportunity to do that? It's very, very difficult for them not to be incels, because the women, and again, millions of them in America and Britain, are apparently using these dating sites. But how many of them are being successful? Here's the thing. Okay, let me code this from the perspective of somebody who's polyamorous. Okay, if a person goes and gets a sugar daddy, they are not necessarily off of the table for you to actually like date. That's not necessarily the case. A polyamorous woman is going to be able to have that transactional relationship and also a standard like regular relationship at the same time. Like you don't have to be an incel. Like, okay, look. Can we have an argument against incels? Can we have a really good argument against incels? I'm a polyamorous dude. Okay? I have been in multiple monogamous relationships and multiple polyamorous relationships. I am ugly as fuck. I am literally redonkulously unattractive. I have zero skills except an ability to talk, and yet somehow magically I am still able to find love. I'm sorry, if you would like a single anecdotal example against literally all the goddamn incel arguments, the incels call that cherry picking. They can shut the fuck up. I don't care. If they're going to say, I will not be able to get a partner because I have all of these negative traits, and I'm like, okay, cool. So what about all the people with all of those negative traits who find partners? And they're like, how many cherries do you have to pick before you have an entire fucking pie in front of you to consume of data? Like, I'm sorry. There's probably a bunch of really lonely people in Sargon's audience that are nodding their head to this and just going, yes, yes, yes.
The sugar daddy sites. I don't think we should call them dating sites because they're not. Because the intent is, of course, not to form a relationship and become a part of what we would have traditionally considered to be society. The goal is merely just to take advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah, again, you've just described wage labor, but go on.
And so you're stuck with this generation that just doesn't understand what it is to
Real
have a
Radham,
relationship,
thank you for the fucking raid.
And as the women themselves say, as interviewed by Zoe, they hate men. They just hate men. They openly profess this hatred of men. It's like, right. And so when you realize...
Is it that most of these women hate men, or a statistically significant amount of them? How many of them hate men?
Okay, you've got... On this one dating site that does this, there are 4 million young women using it. It's like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of young women using it. Then you realize that's just the upper strata. That's just the ones who are attractive enough to do it. There is going to be a lower strata of ones who Callum points out in this video. They're not attractive to do it, but they are the ones at the protests. They are the ones at the women's marches. They still hate men. They still view their relationships with men as purely power interactions.
All right, so low value women. Yeah, he's literally just going, look, there's low value ones, and they go to protests. Okay. I'm not going to talk about whether or not people who go to protests are attractive, because there's literally no way to quantify that. That's quite literally a freaking impossible task. But this is just misogyny. This is bitching about women hate men, but like you're talking about women in different value categories? Are you sure it's not that they just don't hate you? Or rather that they just hate you? Yes, queen, check out my protest. Like, I don't get it, Sargon. I don't get this fixation with value judgments where women are concerned. That doesn't make much sense to me here. Sargon is still around on the internet? Yes, he is. We've kind of graduated Rome on our good days. The fancy women and the porns aren't a thing anymore. Oh my god. You know what? Just to spite him, just to spite Sargon, I think every person who goes to a protest should meet up afterwards and start long-term relationships based on their mutual interests. Because this would create a very lovely paradigm where Sargon is just wrong and cucked all the time.
And this is quite concerning, especially as it's not like the birth rates are doing very well as it is. We are in a demographic collapse. And you can say, well, why do you care about that? Well, I mean, I'd like a pension. I'd like, I'd like to be able to go to an old folks home and have it staffed when I'm old.
I need more people to fuck so that when I'm old, sad, and lonely, there are people who have to take care of me. That is the most pathetic line I have ever heard. And I've read biblical gender roles. Yeah, less humans, what are we gonna do?
But anyway, so the point is, I was not talking about licking abs.
Also, the birth rates are actually going up across the board. There's only one kind of birth rate that is currently, quote, going down that upsets Sargon. And you and I both know which kind it is.
Because we hadn't got to this point. But since that has been the position ascribed to me, let's talk about it, because I think there is something more to this. So, I mean, this, AA made the video, but I got all the memes. Okay, fine, that's fine. And so let's talk about men and women, shall we? This is a traditional woman. This is traditionally a Western interpretation of what a traditional female beauty is. An attractive woman with her husband and her family. It's quite wholesome looking, isn't it? Good luck getting that. You're in trouble. But this isn't...
What? An attractive woman with a family. Good luck getting that. What kind of a doomer mentality is this? What? Oh my god. If you want your traditional family, you can get it. It's not... You can find someone out there that wants this. You can.
Unique. You can look at an African depiction of what a beautiful woman is. Oh, she's feminine, graceful, not hypermuscular. Weird, that, isn't it?
What? You picked a random fucking piece of artwork? And you're just like, look at that. Weird, isn't it? No, it's not. It literally means Jack.
You go all around the world. Women have a particular kind of idealized form. It's not this.
These are all random fucking people. How are they indicative of anything? Also, this is a fallacy. This is argumentum ad populum. You are arguing that because fewer people like this, then this is bad. More people like those other traditional things, according to you, therefore they are good. Sargon... The moment you feel the embrace of an incredibly muscular woman's crushing your head between her thighs, you will know the error of your ways. Isn't that the same generation that made radioactive pottery? You hit the nail on the head.
That's not very womanly. That's
it can be very woman. Please give me Chun-Li.
Actually very manly. What we traditionally and usually consider to be a man. Now, it's because, and this has been folded into the term tomboy. Now, this is not what a tomboy is. A tomboy is a traditional woman of some sort, something that looks like a traditional woman that just dresses slightly less feminine than most other women.
No, you are treating... Okay, no, here's what's fucking happening. Language, motherfucker. Language is descriptive. The idea of what a tomboy is changes not only generation to generation, but person to person. Sargon is saying, no, that's a muscular woman. That's not a tomboy. Bitch, yes, it can be. You can also have an incredibly muscular, yet very feminine woman. Sargon... You are treating these things as prescriptive, as if there are innate properties that create the freaking platonic ideal of tomboy, the platonic ideal of woman.
They don't tend to wear makeup, they wear baggy clothes. It's not that they're bulked like they're steroid-using psychos.
I mean, they might be bulked. They can be bulked. That's fine.
Anyway, so this whole thing became very interesting to look at, because if there's one thing you can say about the people doing this on Twitter, it's that they're not being manly. Whatever this sock puppet is, it's not an avatar of manliness. Now, you might not care about that, and you might say, well, this is just Twitter.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's just Twitter. What I'm going to say is, look, if you're a guy and you're a sub... that is valid. If you're a guy and you're a switch, that is valid. If you don't fall into any of these categories, but you just like having strong women step on you, that is valid. Your manliness, your masculinity, your whatever Sargon's talking about here, that is categorically separate from your interests in a sexual partner. By this same argument, it's not manly to be gay. When you can be gay and feminine, and you can be gay and manly, and really, again, these are descriptive terms. They mean whatever the fuck we want them to mean. Also, Lady Raincloud pops in. First time speaking. Trans rights, I agree. Trans rights. We can get a trans rights in chat. Because if there's anybody that knows how to fuck over Sargon on literally every idea he has over what a gender is or isn't, it would be literally every trans person.
Twitter's not real life. I agree. Twitter isn't real life.
But there are real people on Twitter. There are people in real life who are on Twitter. Like, there's a divide. There's the terminally online people who really need to get off of Twitter and go, like, socialize with people. But Twitter is representative of things in real life, albeit in very atomized and extreme forms.
Academic Agent disagrees. He thinks Twitter is real life, but that's his prerogative. But he's not wrong about the declining standards of masculinity, and it is, outside of the Twitter bubble, quite sad to see, and it is concerning that
why
our civilizations are being run by women who view masculinity as a pathology.
Our civilizations are being ran by women. Also, nobody sees masculinity as a pathology. Toxic masculinity, that's a different thing entirely. The idea that one can be masculine is perfectly fine. Most people who see me in real life would say that I'm a very masculine dude. And I've got freaking facial hair and everything else. It's shaved off right now because my lips are really chapped, and I didn't like the scratchy on chapped lips. But as soon as they're properly moisturized again, all of that is going to be popping back in. Nobody is saying masculinity as a pathology. What they will say is there are toxic aspects to it, just as there are toxic aspects to femininity. If you want to know toxic aspects to femininity, please go watch Classically Abby, and you will see some of those manifest. Toxic masculinity would also be expecting those things. A guy can be buff. A guy can be manly. A guy can be a goddamn lumberjack. I don't care. What I care about is when a guy tries to say that they can't cry. They can't feel pain. They can't express emotions. These are the toxic ways in which that generally manifests, when we expect women to cry, but men should not be because they need to be the strong providers. Fuck that shit. You want to cry? Cry. You need to cry? Hey, my shoulder's right over here. Just maybe not while I'm on stream. I wonder how he feels about the masculinity of ancient Greeks. Dude, Sargon is a guy who, by existing, gets cucked by the most feminine of twink, okay? Sargon seems to have this idea in his head that feminists hate men. This is like the early 2016 atheist skeptic internet discourse crap. This is the stuff that I managed to avoid. Thankfully, since I started like late 2017, a lot of that stuff had kind of died down by the time I started.
You can see this over and over in anywhere in academia, practically. In the classrooms, young boys are just drugged now. Take your ADHD medication because you're not sitting still like a young girl does. It's like, well, as Christina Hoff Summers points out, boys are not defective young girls. They have different personalities. They have different, like, biologies. They are something not the same.
What the fuck is that point? Men have to be ADHD medicated so they sit still like girls do? Do you not know what ADHD is? Like, yes, there is a problem where we over-medicate people, but that does not seem to be the case. This seems to be denying that, like, an actual disorder exists for the sole purpose of having an own against the femoids.
and essentially trying to engineer them into becoming young girls.
What?
From an early age.
Who's trying to engineer guys into being girls? Who?
As well as stretching on into their adulthood, is not good for the state of masculinity, and this is what
the state of masculinity is an amorphous thing that has no true definition. This guy gives very unsmart vibes. Sargon is one of the most verbose yet unintelligent people I know of.
Is thinking of. Now, you can say, okay, well, using a Twitter meme to make that point when this is clearly a joke is not good form and it makes you look ridiculous. That's true.
It does. You're not wrong.
Criticism. But the point is still true, even though he chose a really bizarre form in which to address it. But to
Thank you for the follow, homonyms.
If he hadn't chosen this meme-worthy format, I think it unlikely it would have caused the controversy that it did. And I think the fact that it did cause controversy is because it hit on a fundamental truth. And I think it is important that this is an object of discussion. Especially as I don't think it's as online as you think. Weirdly, this came across my Facebook feed today. Was it today or yesterday? Cleavage is over. Welcome to the age of killer abs.
Okay.
Weird. For women. Why are women trying to get killer abs?
Because they want to? Because they want to? Because it can be seen as attractive? Because it's healthy? Because abs are cool? Does it matter? Like, yeah, the biggest reason would be because why not? This is literally an insert your own thing.
It's just bizarre, isn't it? Because, I mean, obviously, in previous eras, that's not really what men were focusing on when they were looking at a woman and thinking, right, okay, she's a good partner. It was cleavage, obviously, and hips and ass and whatnot. But cleavage primarily is what women have used.
Because that makes people look submissive and breedable. What does that fucking matter, though?
To beguile men. And you can find studies. In fact, there's this one video that's really funny where there's this guy. He's like, right, he's filming himself, and he's got this software that uses the webcam to track his eye motions on the screen. And he's like, right, there's a woman's cleavage is going to come up, and I'm not going to look at it. And you can see him, and he's like, right. So the image comes up, and his eyes just straight to it, and he's like, damn it. And he's so angry with himself. It's such a such a difficult thing to resist as a man.
Okay, as a straight man specifically, but cleavage hot, therefore what? Countdown to someone doing fan art of Suris with killer abs. I will have Suzu put abs on Slime Girl Suris if that is what it takes. If anything popped up on stream, you're probably going to glance at it. The egg phone got it. Damn it. Did they do the same test with a man's chest? I don't know. Because it wasn't a study. He was just referring to a single video. Like, he said it was a study, then he goalpost shifted it to being a single video. How much more of this is there? Dear God, we are only a quarter of the way through.
But you can that video cracks me up. But anyway, the point is why killer abs? Why as a man, I don't care about that at all. Like,
cool,
going
that's
back to
you.
the original picture, I don't find that sexy. I mean, that looks like a bloke with tits. So why would I be into that? But that's
some people are bi, some people are pan, some people are red, some people are blue, some people could be violet skies. I don't fucking care. Like, literally, different people find different things attractive. There is no world in which this is not just argumentum ad populum to say that women should look the way that you particularly want them to look. But don't you have a wife? Shouldn't you be like? From what I understand, Sargon is monogamous and in a long-term relationship. Why does the figure of other women from younger generations. Why does this matter to him? Why does it matter? Remember, all this is while the man is married to a woman. Yes, but she's probably nodding her head at this.
The question is now, I was lucky enough to be born before Generation Z men, frankly, and millennial men. I was lucky enough to be born in a generation that got to watch X-Men and, you know, all these sort of Saturday morning cartoons that weren't trying to subvert traditional gender roles.
Hold up. He got to see X-Men and women not subverting gender roles in X-Men. In X-Men. He's so wrong about the X-Men thing. Yeah. Look, if there is one series of any variety that I would not try to argue did not subvert anything, gender roles included, it would be X-Men. The series that began as a way of talking about the civil rights movement in comic form with superheroes. I've seen the X-Men. He's probably talking about, oh yeah, he's talking about the 90s cartoon. He's talking about that. But I don't think that example works very well here. So because X-Men existed, thus feminism invalid? The fuck is he saying? Yeah, it just... Let me try that sentence again. The women in X-Men, including Jean Grey, could one-hit KO him. Like, the women in X-Men literally did freaking military training under Charles Xavier because he knew they would need it. But okay, sure, definitely. That's definitely a traditionally male thing that they definitely weren't doing at any point ever.
And this, I think, was something I'm looking back very, very pleased with. I'm glad I don't have the sort of gender confusion young people have today.
They're not gender confused. No, Sargon, you're confused about genders. Most people are not really gender confused. Oh yeah, video's right here. Sorry. Most people are not really like gender confused. And even then, if you are gender confused, you need to make a case that it's a bad thing. Like, I'm a cis dude, but I'm also gender apathetic. I don't care. If I woke up tomorrow in a girl's body, it wouldn't mean jack shit to me. If I woke up tomorrow in an androgynous body, it wouldn't mean jack shit to me. Wouldn't change anything, really. But I would not call that gender confusion. And for most people, I wouldn't call it either. If somebody's questioning their gender, that's not a bad thing. It just means that they'll eventually land on where it is, or they might be gender fluid, which means it might be confusing to you, but not most other people, especially not the person who's gender fluid.
But what am I talking about? And what are we talking about when we say this is not manly? Like, what does that mean? What is manliness? Why is this important? What does it do?
It's not important. It does nothing. It is whatever you want it to be. There, I answered every question for you. This video is now functionally useless. You can click off of it. You can go to another video now. I've done it.
You know, and this is where I think it is Adam and Sitch sort of come off the rails, and Short Fat Taco as well, who was also involved in this on Twitter. Again, all people I very much enjoy their content. I've been friends with them for years. I've got a great amount of respect for their integrity and their intelligence. And so this was not a conflict I saw coming.
I don't think I have that opinion of any of those people.
Or expected to ever weigh in on. But I think that there is something to being a man that is not merely being male. And I think that's not controversial to say. And
really? Sargon says trans rights? There is something about being a man that is not merely being born one? Sargon! How scandalous of you! Yeah, maybe trans men's rights. Still. Wait, weren't Adam and Sitch centrists? Kind of ish? years ago, I had a conversation with Adam Friended on Steve McRae's channel, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the guy. Most of my opinion there is that, though.
And again, weirdly, like, my timeline seems to be popping things up. So this article came up literally about an hour and a half before I did this stream. And it was really one of the last sort of pieces of the puzzle that slotted in. Because I don't know who Tom Ellis is, I don't know who this guy is. But when The Guardian had posted it on Facebook, they posted, not the title, they'd posted this. What's the worst thing anyone's ever said about you? You were a disgrace of a man. It's like, okay, but what does that mean? And why is he affected by it? Like, if being a man is merely being born male, or being an adult male, then you can't really be a disgrace of a man. What's disgraceful? Like, we're just talking about the purely material aspect of one's body. But of course, what he's talking about here is that there are metaphysical expectations that are the traditional construct of what a man is. And this is why if we...
Yeah, congratulations. You have just described gender? You have just described gender. Holy shit. Congratulations, Sargon. You did it. You accidentally stumbled on a very functional definition we can use for a concept of gender. Now, of course, he's not going to go the full way with that. He's going to use it to continue this weird bullshit point, but...
we look at this picture, you have deep and well-embedded ideas about the role of the adults in this picture and what their respective functions in society are, expanding outwards from their own household and into their careers and social lives. And this is what is being referred to here. There are certain ways of behaving that we need to discuss. And this is what was talked about on Adam and Sitch's... oh, sorry, Sitch and Adams. Oh, God, Adam, you're the butler. You are the butler. Look, it's in the name. You should have argued for primacy on the basis of alphabetical order, at the very least. But anyway, this is... Dev...
why is he pointing to this random 1950 cereal box picture as a model for society? Because it's Sargon, and that's what he does. He grabs random shit and then goes, look, this means this, and this means I can pontificate on this for hours. And when I do so, I am able to create content, lots of content, infinite content even. If I'm able to take a random image and extrapolate on it the meaning of life, then I will be able to not only bestow meaning on a bunch of young people who actually don't know shit and don't know any better, and then will repeat the things I say ad nauseum, but in so doing, I will also be able to create all the content in the world, therefore guaranteeing me a supply of money coming into me and my family, which I need to do so because my Patreon was taken down because I'm actually kind of a shit. Or was I too... or did I hit the nail on the head too hard there? Lady Raincloud, thank you for the follow. Catasillo, thank you for the follow as well earlier. Man, if I was born in the 50s, I'd get away with so much abuse. Yeah. The guy he keeps referencing is the one who created the video who idolizes a fascist psychologist. Oh dear. How much of a shit does Sargon have to be to lose his Patreon? I don't remember. It's old news now. There's an old Mr. Medicare video that goes over a lot of it. Ziggy Dicky, thank you for redeeming your points, friend. You monster.
Sitch and Adam covered this on their stream, covered Academic Agent's video. And as you can see, they've got the picture of the abs, the abs in question, the guilty abs. And they've been talking about this, and at one point Sitch and Adam start attacking, well, what is being a man? And when Academic Agent is presenting his thesis, he's leaning on the traditionalist constructs of a one Julius Evola. Now, I've never read Evola or Evola, how it's pronounced. I hear he's very, very right-wing, and he has very, what I suppose they would consider to be regressive views on gender, which I'm not endorsing or denying because I've never read his work. But one thing that they do is attack Evola or Vola himself for not being manly enough. And it's like, okay, that's interesting, because that's a way of essentially just ad homing the problem out of the debate, right? It doesn't matter how manly or not Evola is. What matters is, was he saying something that was true? You know, that.
Okay, so he's talking about a conversation that we aren't privy to at this point, about a book that we haven't read. I'm about to skip ahead here because this is starting to get so many layers in it, at least with this particular point. It's hard to actually, like, tell what's going on at that point.
It doesn't matter whether he himself doesn't live up to it. The criticism might well still be true. And so we have to kind of talk about what it is.
Wait, were you gonna play that video from Adam and Sitch? Were you gonna do that? Was that a thing you were gonna do? Or are you just gonna you just bring it up for a second as a screenshot and then you just kind of go on?
To be manly. And as you could see there, in fact, you can see why, frankly, I do think they are misrepresenting what Academic Agent's position is here, because they don't consider themselves to be right-wing, and they're not in comparison to, say, like a regular person, but of course by social justice standards, they're far-right lunatics. But
okay, I didn't get the idea that Adam Friended was far right from my conversation with him. Granted, this was years ago, and I've never had a conversation with Sitch. Centrist is probably close enough there. Just regardless of how I felt from that conversation, I didn't get the feeling of like far right politics. But okay, yeah, it's just boring rambling now. It's just boring rambling. I give you 30 seconds, Sargon. I give you 30 seconds.
So they're trying to maintain a sort of center ground, which is perfectly fine. But Academic Agent says, in short, Adam addresses the fundamental issue, namely young men behaving like teenage girls in front of masculine women. The issue is never about abs. Hold Adam to honesty. And he is right when he says that. Again, going back to the image, it's not about the fact that the woman has abs.
But you made it about that earlier. You literally brought up an article and then said, why do women even want abs? Why do they want them? Sargon, you made it about the abs.
It's about the response of the man to them. And so we have to talk about what it is to be a man, as in not just being an adult human male, assuming you hold that retrograde definition of what a man is, but the metaphysical construct of manliness.
Yeah, just gender. It's just gender. You're just talking about gender now. Okay, I'm bored. We're only halfway through that video, but I just don't know if I even want to continue with this. Have a look at something Vosh's chat found in his reaction to the video. Let's take a look at it. It's
Sargon simping for strong thighs, lol. No way.
Representation!
Oh, whoa. If she is going to fucking bag on Chun-Li, Anita, we're going to have a problem. You leave my Chunna's thunder thighs alone, bitch.
You know who also has abs, Sargon? Chun-Li. Like, okay, this is from 5 years ago now, to be fair. His positions might have changed. But muscular women bad is his position now, but apparently his position when it's Chun-Li is muscular women good. So thighs good, abs bad. Yeah. Performative outrage strikes again. It's almost as if in a lot of cases, a lot of these people tend to hold their positions only for the amount of time they need to for the video recording to be done. And then once the video recording is over, they can go back to holding their default positions if they even know what those are anymore. Zozo, thank you very much for redeeming the points for the owl. Changed his position on Chun-Li, crushing his head like a watermelon. Okay, look, I'm just going to say this. Women with abs are hot. NBs with abs are hot. I assume guys with abs are hot too. Past that, I don't care. Sargon wants to say that it's not about the abs, but then he also makes it about the abs. apparently has had issues with like gender stuff in conversations with other people before where trans rights are concerned, but then he's got this like metaphysical narrative of what a man is, which is just getting us into gender again, but with big words. This was a very strange video. Chat threw it at me randomly during the stream. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. If you want to support this channel and what I'm doing, then you know how to feel. It's in the description area, that place. I just don't. Subscribe if you want more of my pain. More of my pain. We had to do some topic. I had a topic planned, and then y'all threw this one on me. And, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just here, vibing. Anyways, insert end of the video tagline here.